Welcome back, guys, to the Mindcrack server. Today we're going to be doing some unveiling of some concepts that I've kind of kept under my cap, so to speak. Been keeping them up my sleeve. We're going to do some work, doing a little bit of polishing on the visuals of the house. I'm going to tell you the limitations on the house and the name of the house, all in this video. But first, let's see if we can get a catastrophe going here, a cow apocalypse. Let's see if they will explode out of there. I've got about 400 cows right now, and as soon as they start burning and get, yep, there's one. There they go. There, yep. There they go. They should be dying pretty soon. I was kind of hoping to see more. I bred up a ton of them. We have about 400, or we did anyway. I probably just slaughtered, I don't know, maybe 50 or so. I haven't really tried to get an exact count. Actually, we can do that now. I know there was about 400, so we can climb up here and take a look to see how many we have left. And there wasn't quite as much of a cow explosion as I would have liked. Oh well, we can do it again in a minute. Let's see, the best place to look. We could try to get an overall view here. It says I can see like 450 or so, but I'm getting some of the sheep probably, and maybe some mobs over there. Like there's some skeletons. So one place we can get an idea is up here. I think I went up here on top of the farm. I've gotten rid of as much of the scaffolding as I can. One of the problems with the lens, which always kind of bugged me, is that there was just scaffolding everywhere, because I was kind of working on the whole thing at once. I wanted it to be like one big thing, have a consistent look. And so as a consequence of that, nothing was ever really finished. Part of that was I got a little burnt out on the project, because it was such a big project. Another thing is that I just got burnt out on Minecraft. Period. Let's see here. It says about 300. So it looks like I killed about 80 or 90 of them. We could probably do it again. Let's see if we can get a better cow explosion. Similar to the cat explosion. If you've ever played Dwarf Fortress, you know what a cat explosion is. Oh, okay, got some lag doing that. Maybe if we get up higher. So anyway, we're going to be doing some work on the house, on polishing phase 1. I wanted to avoid the always unfinished nature of the lens, and that's why I decided to work on this house in phases. Instead of building like all of the farms at once, I would really like to have that jack-o'-lantern farm so that we can start putting jack-o'-lanterns up. And I don't have to rely on glowstone so much, particularly for stuff that you're not really going to see. But I'm waiting. I would really like the iron farm as well. I would really like that. But I'm waiting until we get to a sufficient level of completion here. Let's see how many... this cow system isn't really... I don't think we're ever going to just like murder half of them. It's just not set up like that. We're going to have to do it multiple times. So, I've been working on sort of the same type of house for a long time. Basically, ever since I started Minecraft. If you go back to one of my super early video updates, I was talking about having elbow surgery. This is a long time ago, before the hard drive crash. And I was walking through the world, the old world that had the original Piggy Temple, and you can see in the background there's like a tower that I built. I think that was my first tower, and ever since then I've been building extremely vertical houses. They become more and more complex, and like the detailing and design of them has become more refined, I think. I was on Play Mindcrack for a few minutes the other night, and I went to the lens just to check it out because I hadn't been there in so long. I forgot how big it was, but also it feels very crude compared to this house already. This house seems orders of magnitude more refined, and I'm quite happy that that is the case. I feel like I'm making progress as a builder. Look at all that beef. We've almost got a full chest here. We still have to put item sorters to take out the leather and the raw beef, because otherwise that's going to be a problem once we start getting more than one chest full, because the hoppers are going to get backed up. All right, so this house is a combination of a lot of things, and we have some limitations on it. There's some overlapping themes with previous houses. The verticality, the drop shafts where you can just jump down into the mines. I don't have any water down there yet, so I wouldn't recommend jumping down there, but you could theoretically do it and then die. There are some... Let's see. Where do I start? First, let's go with the limitations. Okay, yeah, let's start there. It's hard to know where to start, but let's start there. The limitations on the house. The lens had a limitation, which I imposed. I don't even know why it occurred to me to do it, but my idea was to have one source block of water for the entire lens. And so, as a result of that, we ended up with all these aqueducts. I had to design the farms in a very strange way to get around that, to allow the water to all split up and cascade so that we could do all the things I needed to do with water, but with only one source block. And what happened is I think we ended up with a lot of really cool, interesting, atypical designs that I wouldn't have done or wouldn't have even thought of otherwise if I didn't have that limitation. So, I have 2 limitations for this place so far, and it's more of like an aesthetic thing. It's not quite as functional as the lens limitation of one source block of water. All right, so here we go. No straight walls. No straight walls. That is the first limitation. You can see I haven't really built rooms per se. I mean, I guess if we go... Where's that ladder? The only rooms in the place so far are these sheep rooms. Okay? And the walls are obviously not straight. Now, there are technically little rooms in the mob farm there, but you don't ever go in them. And there's little rooms here, but notice we've got straight walls. That will be fixed eventually. We're going to put an outer shell, which is going to curve the walls to some degree. That's the same reason why the cow farm isn't straight. No straight walls. If I build paths, no straight paths. When I build bridges, no straight bridges. No straight nothing. When I make a... Well, when I make another nether tunnel, that can be straight, because that's kind of... It's not going to be part of the house. It's going to be separate. But no straight walls. Okay, so that's limitation number 1. Limitation number 2, no solid walls. No solid walls. This is an idea I had a long time ago, like way back before I was doing Super Hostile Legendary, because I wanted to build this idea in the desert in Super Hostile Legendary, the West Commons, the big desert area. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be freaking cool if you had a house where all the walls were made of water? And so I've set up some dispensers here. Let's pop down and take a look. And this is going to be laggy while all of this updates, and then it should straighten out. I've already tested it a few times. So the graphics are going to be a bit laggy, but it'll catch up. So no straight walls, no solid walls. The only walls we're allowed to have are water and lava, because those are the only liquids we have in the game right now, or they can be open to the air. Those 3 are the options. So we kind of have this big chunky thing here, but it's holding a bunch of wiring. There's no actual rooms in there except to access the wiring. So that's solid, but that doesn't count as a wall. It's more like a real thick floor with all the wiring. This right here hasn't updated either. But you notice we have this cap here. I was wondering if anyone was going to notice that there's enough of a gap for water to fall. And to be honest, I was a little bit worried about the Play Mindcrack server, because there's a Season 4 museum. You can go look at this map 2 weeks out of date. And I built that thing more than 2 weeks ago, because it was before Christmas break. And development of the project has been kind of slow. So right now we just have, we've got 2 big water cylinders there. The other shapes are going to be they're not all going to be cylinders like that, I guess I should say. We're going to have some different shapes and geometries and pathways, but I wanted to get the those big shapes out of the way first for phase 1. But I think it looks pretty neat. We're still having, like, the graphics haven't quite updated, but once they've updated, once you load in, it's not quite as laggy, because nothing's updating, really. And the MIP mapping kind of does some funny things with the transparencies. You see, like, all these little flecks of white that you're seeing the glass in the background, but the MIP mapping is blending things in a way that it's almost making it seem like the water is in streaks. Like if you go to options and video settings and you turn MIP mapping off, it's gonna make the game reload, and it's all gonna load back in, and then that's not gonna be there, but the graphics aren't nearly as nice at a distance. It gets kind of noisy in terms of like the pixely noise of the graphics. It looks kind of pixely. Doesn't look as good. It does fix that problem. I have no idea how you would even begin to address that. I'm not a programmer. Let's see if we go to MIP map level 3. Let's see what happens. All right, so as that's loading in, those are the limitations. No solid walls, no straight walls. And the name of the house is the Arcology. So the house, the overall visuals, people have been saying, is it a rocket that's about to blast off? Is it the villain machine monster from The Incredibles? And the answer to both of those is no. It is based, the visuals are based very loosely on the Arcologies from SimCity 2000. SimCity 2000, not Sin City 2000. Oh, look, with MIP mapping level 3, we don't really have that effect. Okay, maybe I'll keep MIP mapping in level 3, because that looks a little bit more consistent. So, an Arcology. What is an Arcology for people that don't know what an Arcology is and have not played SimCity, or haven't looked it up independent of SimCity? It's a combination of the words architecture and ecology. It's kind of like a futuristic kind of thing where people who are into futurology like to hypothesize. And this is an idea where you would have some massive structure, and it would contain like a bunch of housing, a bunch of farms, and a bunch of like shopping and office area, commercial, agricultural, and residential, like all in one, wrapped up in one huge building. That's all self-contained, and it was kind of like the end game building to build in SimCity 2000. Once you got to the end of all the tech trees, you could build these Arcologies. They would hold a ton of people. They would count as residential and commercial, and I think industrial as well. And I don't think they put out any pollution. So it's like this real futuristic idea. And if you Google search Arcology, you'll come up with a bunch of cool visuals. You may even see a few that I've been looking at to take some visual cues from. But we haven't really gotten to that point yet. I do plan to add like greenery to this thing, because there's no real ecology in the Arcology just yet, except for the farm. But we're going to get there one step at a time. This project is massive. Oh, let me show you some statistics while we're talking about it being a massive project. Here we go. All right, let's look at the block tab. So, what have we been using? Stone bricks and glass and quartz. And I used some of those things for the Death Starter house, but I recovered all of those. I recovered the glass with a silk touch pick, and I've been reusing them. So just go ahead and guess. Make a guess at the number of stone bricks, number of glass, and the number of quartz blocks that I have acquired and used. Go ahead. Just pick a number in your head. All right, here we go. Blocks. 15,000 smelted stone. Okay, 28,000 mined. There's probably the discrepancy here between this number and this number is the map building at spawn. There's a lot of cobblestone there and cobblestone walls and whatnot. Okay, let's see. Glass. 20,000 glass. 20,000 glass crafted. And almost all of that has been placed. 20,000. Let's see. Quartz. Quartz. That's wool. That's iron blocks. That's snow. Okay. Any other white blocks going to show up? Look at this. Stained glass, 17,744. And almost all of that, minus like 7 or 8 stacks, is up in that building in the air, which we have barely even put a dent into its final form in Dragon Ball Z terms. There we go. 15,000 nearly stone bricks. Where is the quartz? Being able to Control F this and search would be nice. Quartz block. Oh, look at that. It doesn't even display properly. I wonder if that's a glitch. 2,000. That seems low. I wonder if this is glitch because the way that the name isn't displaying properly. That doesn't seem right. I've only crafted 416. Yeah, I don't think so. That one doesn't seem right. But we've done a lot. Oh, and it looks even cooler at the night. You know what would be neat? Let's try and get the moon in the background of the house. Actually, before we do that, let's refresh the ender pearlage because I'm running low. I've been burning through them. I'm kind of at the point where I just want to start carrying around 2 stacks at once. I've been trying to remove as much of the scaffolding as I can as I build to keep it as clean as possible. I don't want it to be like the lens where it just, there's never a sense of it being finished. Let's see if we can get the moon coming through the glass and the water. Okay, these floors are solid. That's not going to work. Maybe over here? Yeah, you can kind of see it through the water and the glass. That's pretty cool. That's what I want, like layers and layers of transparency. All right, so to continue finishing up, now that we have the water going and hooked up to dispensers so I can turn it off and on, eventually I would like to have like a master control switch somewhere here in the brain. This level is like the brain where all the switches are going to be. At some point, I would like a master control switch to turn all of the water off with just one button. I don't know how that's going to be wired per se. I mean, I know how the wiring is going to get up through here in the sheep pen because I purposely left a spot next to the ladder. Whoops. There's purposely, I left this like gap in the air and in the floor so that there's room to send wire through there. And I guess I will do the same for the mob farm over there. When I redesign it to use pistons, I will leave space so that I can send a signal up through the top. And we will do the same thing for other buildings when we do it. Eventually, once this wheat farm gets its enclosure, it doesn't have it yet. The walls are still straight, for instance. We will do a similar thing with the water. I wonder if we could make the cow farm overlap this guy. I think we could. I think the cow farm's footprint is bigger basically in every direction. So maybe we'll do that so that I don't want them to just be a straight cylinder though. I don't want it all to be cylinders. So, but we'll get to that eventually. All right, so what we need to do now is now that I have the dispensers hooked up in the water, I want to put the cap on the top. We have the caps on the bottom of these 2 big guys. So these things down here, we are now going to put on the top, and it's really tedious. I have to like look at screenshots of the bottom, and I have to look at plots.co.uk to get the diagrams and whatnot. So I'm going to do it all off camera, but I have this magic button where I hit the button, and then all of a sudden it just appears. I don't actually have to. It doesn't take any time at all or any effort. I'm just gonna spin around the camera and say Allah, whoop, hip, Allah Kazam. There we go, all done. Man, I just snapped my fingers and it's all finished. I need to do that more often. I would like put out a video every 30 minutes if all I have to do is snap my fingers. I don't know why I don't do it more often. It's so easy. It doesn't take any time at all. Oh, look, the sun's rising. It's almost as if some time has passed. But it can't be because I just spun around and then things were finished. So who knows? Okay, so we got the caps on the things now. Still have a lot of cows. I've triggered the cow farm like 4 or 5 times. There's some like the pathing AI algorithm causes them to not want to like to step in this middle section as much. That there's more clustered around this edge Maybe they don't want to be, like, to fall down this hole and be cooked to death. Maybe they don't want to do that. But I've got almost a full chest of beef right now. Let's pop down here and check things out. There's one guy. Oh, glitching out. Oh, look at that. All right, lots of leather. 3 stacks of leather. Okay, so we're still a little bit shy. We've got 9 stacks to go, more or less. But we'll get there. And then the hopper above it's only going to hold a couple. So then hopefully, what I'd really like to do is I'd like to start getting these lights lighting up, even if it's only the first one. We still need to filter out the seeds as well. Lots of things to do. Lots of things to do. Okay. Let's take a look, though. I think it looks pretty neat. They're still hanging. I mean, by hanging, I mean they're suspended in air. They're not touching anything. And I sort of did this little exploratory bridge thing to see where it would connect to. If we extended this out to there, would the floors line up with this column thing? But I haven't really built much of it, obviously. That's kind of one of the next things to do on the house, is to get them to connect. I want it to kind of look like a truss on a bridge or something. So there'll probably be some kind of triangulation thing here. It might be curved, it might be straight, it might be diagonal, I don't know. But something to that effect. And something similar coming out to hold on to this. And I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but the detailing will be similar to this guy. And also need to continue to work on this column here. I'm thinking we're not going to do the 45-degree legs. I'm going to wait till I finish this. But I'm thinking we're going to mirror this over here. I think that's going to look really cool. It's going to make it look almost precarious. And like the detailing we've done here is going to be very difficult to make look right if we make the legs diagonal, particularly like these, it's not purple, what is it, light blue stained clay, how they're mostly straight lines. It's gonna be really jaggy, it's gonna be jagged, having diagonal lines of all of those things. So I think we're gonna mirror it on the other side. Plus that means I have one less thing to design, because this thing is extremely complex, and I would have to go through a similar amount of work to get it to work on a diagonal. Let's see what these things look like from a variety of perspectives. Let's just run around the thing. I think it looks pretty darn neat. And there's not much scaffolding, which is good. There's a little bit up here, but we'll continue to keep the scaffolding as minimal as possible. There's still the ladder going up the thing. I need to add some platforms for ender pearling, so that you can get from one place to another reliably and not fall to your death so much. It's going to look really cool once the air above here starts to fill out with more farms. Let's do one last look. Maybe over here by the portal. And then we'll call that good. Next time, when Zisteau plays on the Mindcrack server and makes a video about it, we're going to go back to spawn. Going to start the new building. We're going to do like layer 1, I'm going to say. We'll call it layer 1 of the new building. Looks very off balance. But, yes, I'm pleased with the progress we're making. Okay, so let me know what you guys think in the comments of the Arcology, the limitations, the overall progress in the house, anything you can think of or want to talk about. We will see you next time. See you later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.